Welcome, and thank you all for joining us for this very special series of the Crexi Podcast, an insider's look at all things commercial real estate. I'm your host, Shanti Ryle, Director of Content at Crexi, and this is the Women of Influence series, delivering next-level insights and expertise live from GlobeSt's Women of Influence Conference. And today, we are thrilled to sit down with DeLea Becker. A little bit about our guest. DeLea is the founder and broker of Beck REIT Commercial and Beck REIT Asset Management. In addition, she owns with her husband a 25-year-old heavy highway civil construction company, Beck REIT and Sons Limited, which specializes in, is it TXDOT? TXDOT road and bridge repair. Her experience in commercial real estate started as an investor and developer. She has vast knowledge in the greater Austin area real estate market with expertise in East Austin. She seeks to purchase income-producing properties across Texas, vacant properties to tenant in Central Texas, and old buildings to gut and rehab in Austin, Texas. That's a very specific thesis. I love that. She lowers her risk exposure in investing by having her companies manage all aspects: brokerage, property management, and construction. DeLea's focus is growing her personal CRE portfolio, while the majority of her brokerage clients are serviced by brokers she has working for her company. DeLea actively champions women with careers in commercial real estate to become active investors with their knowledge and expertise. Real estate has proven through history to be an excellent path to growing wealth. DeLea is adamant that women get in the game. Amen. Amen, sister. DeLea is a member of many professional organizations that are specific to commercial real estate and business. She has been honored with awards from Austin Business Journal, BizNow, Crew, CCIM, WRE Conference,
Women in real estate and construction.
Oh, okay. There we go. Commercial Real Estate Influencers Summit. I know that one. Also influencer, and the National Association of Realtors, NAR. Oh my gosh, DeLea, welcome to the podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I just covered a lot about your background, but I'd love to hear, your story from your own mouth.
What do you want me to tell you? Where do you want me to start?
Well, how did you get started in commercial real estate? What about it made you so excited and made you such a champion of it?
It was absolutely accidental, and I have quite a few women friends that is the case, how they got into real estate, whether it be residential or commercial. I married my husband in 2003, and in 1999, 6 months before we met, he had started Beck REIT and Sons, civil construction company, and it did underground boring and tunneling back then. And he had a partner, Norman Reitmeyer. Norman Reitmeyer retired out in about 2003, and he said, I'm going to go hang out with my grandkids, Russ, and you can take Beck REIT and Sons. We started doing infill development, residential, so single family homes. And that was because my husband and I had zero money, and we could not get bonded work. So we couldn't do government work. In 2006, we were in the middle of a 40-lot subdivision in East Austin, and we entered the Great Recession.
Yep.
So my husband looked around and he said, developers and contractors my size aren't going to make it. They're going to go bankrupt, and most, if not all, did. He went out to the field and started doing federal government work and left me to handle those last couple houses.
Oh, I was going to say rude. Left you.
It was rude.
Yeah.
It was very rude. In all of that, he kept hassling me to go get my real estate license. He's like, get your real estate license so we can sell these houses and keep the 3% to us at least, or 6% if you sell the whole thing. And I really despised it. I said, I don't want to do this. I'm doing this so we don't go bankrupt. We're in a great recession and we've got to survive, and I'll do anything. Anything to survive. But it doesn't mean I want to make a career of something I can't stand.
Lo and behold.
That was residential.
Oh,
that was residential.
Yeah.
So in 2012, I went and got my license to spite him. And whenever I got out, someone in there told me, they said, go do commercial, because and by then we had 3 commercial buildings that were in East Austin, and this is 2006 to 2012. So East Austin was starting to gentrify. It was a gentle gentrification. So you couldn't get huge rents there. It wasn't like it is today. So we would buy a building and we would renovate it and then we would office there because you couldn't really get high rents there. And by then, but this person that I'd met in the classes said, go do commercial. Your nature will go over much better there. And I said, great, I'll go buy more buildings. I had already come up with, and I should say Norman Reitmeyer had taught Russ this. You have a construction company to create the money, but also the big one is financials. So we are a 25-year-old third-party audited construction company, which means I can show up to any bank and get a loan.
Which is great.
Period.
It's hard to do nowadays.
Yes. Well, not everybody has a 25-year-old third-party audited construction company that has a track record of making money every single year.
And in Austin, where it's very competitive nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is how I got into commercial real estate. I was just going to do it for us. I was going to go buy buildings. And I got called by somebody that we had built a house for in like 2006 that asked if we could do a contract for them. And I was like, I will do the contract. I really love contracts. Love them. I love spreadsheets and contracts. Because it's a game of what do I know that you don't know that I can sneak in there.
Interesting. It's a fun little like puzzle solving situation. It sounds like.
It is.
Okay.
And I worked with her to buy a church in East Austin. She didn't end up buying the church. It was a couple years later before she bought some land in East Austin, and I was I was hooked in that I enjoyed it. It was very, very complicated because she was going to buy the church, redevelop it, add on square footage, and you had to deal with zoning and setbacks and parking and all of the things. I like hard. So it's not like everybody's just going to go do that.
Yeah.
I found it quite fun and like, okay, we can't do that, but what if we do this? And that's kind of what I have built my career on. Is doing really hard things that not everybody else can do. Also, they don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it.
Absolutely.
They're like, I don't want to do a 4-year project. And I'm like, oh, but I own it. In fact, while we were driving here, I told the ladies in the car that I was on the phone call today. There is a building that I want to buy on Guadalupe in Austin. And they said, well, send me the spreadsheet on it. And I was like, well, first of all, this is not going to be a spreadsheet buy. This is a primo property that in 20 years is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
It's not going to blow your mind tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it will.
You got to have the vision for it.
It'd be long and complicated. I'm not trying to make money tomorrow.
That's an interesting point of view because I think, I wouldn't say necessarily young people in commercial real estate think this, but there is, I think, kind of an atmosphere of I want to get rich quick. I want to go to A to Z real fast. And while you're excited to answer this.
I am so excited to talk about this.
While a lot of people, oh my gosh, I saw your excitement and I got so excited too. But I think, there is something to be said for developing the long-term view, but also the patience to look out that far into the distance and honestly kind of manifest what you want that project or wealth creation, as you love to talk about, to be. So, to answer the question that I'm struggling to ask because you just got so excited about it, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Well, I will go to what I got very excited about, but I'll start with time heals everything. You can buy a property, you can buy a house, you can buy anything, and if you hold it long enough, you're going to be all right. So if you don't put a short timeline on it, you're going to be okay. A lot of, what is the famous quote? Good things come to those who wait. And there's truth in that, especially in commercial real estate, because it's not a fast moving beast. It is like a huge carrier ship that the Navy has. It's not a speedboat that can just shift and go. the people do well that have a long-term vision. I'm going to buy this and I'm going to hold it 10 years, and maybe in 12 to 15, I'm going to scrape it and I'm going to build something. And then I will go so far as to, okay, I think in 50 years, and I'll have this outlined so that my kids can go do something different, or my grandkids, right?
Yeah.
And I think in commercial real estate, a lot of us know, and hopefully you're blessed to have a couple clients, that it's in the third, fourth, and fifth generation of family. They kept it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Here is why I got so excited, because it breaks my heart. I am so upset that TikTok is popular because people have a 7-second attention span. That breaks my heart. I can't teach you how to get wealthy in 7 seconds.
Yeah.
I cannot. I can't do clickbait that will attract you unless I lie to you. I have to lie to you to get the hook in 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Am I doing you a service? I'm okay if there's a TikTok, and this could be Instagram, it can be anything, a 7-second hook that reels you in and you go watch a 2-hour video on YouTube. That I'm fine with. But how many people do you know
That go do that?
your age that go do the 2-hour video?
I will say, just to not a lot, but there is a growing group, which I'm very interested in, that are starting to use YouTube as a search engine. So instead of, I'm going to go read this article, it's, I'm going to watch this lecture, or I'm going to watch this video essay, or whatever it is. And I think there's a little bit of a balancing act starting to happen. But no, I will say the majority is still, I mean, I found myself in those traps too, where I'm just like, I'll just look at Instagram for a little bit, and then it's an hour, and I didn't really learn anything. I just
Exactly.
distracted myself.
You did. Well, what is this? Why do we want to distract ourselves? Okay, we're going to put a pin in that. We'll come back to
Yeah, we'll talk
distracting
about that
ourselves.
after the recording.
Okay. Here is what I know, and I can't remember where I saw the statistic, but I know it's true because I watched my husband. Statistically, 82% of wealthy people watch 1 hour of YouTube every single day or more
Wow.
because they self-educate every day.
That's amazing.
And they don't watch the 7-second videos.
Yeah.
They watch hour-long videos, or they listen to podcasts. I mean, this is a big one. Let's pretend this is an hour-long podcast. I'm going to stick it in 1.5, and I'm going to get through it in, 35 minutes?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing on YouTube. You put it in fast mode.
Yep.
Voracious learners, but you're not trying to learn it fast. Because you can watch a 2-hour video, and then it's going to take you a year of research to figure out all of it. That's the thing that will make you wealthy, but not tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have the attention span on one hand, but then also the patience to see the follow through of where that knowledge will take you and how you can apply it. Absolutely.
And just keep going one day at a time.
Yeah, 100%. So kind of touching on that, and I want to be mindful of time because we're at the very beginning of the Women of Influence conference. So there's a lot of programming happening, and I want you to get to it. But, something you mentioned being really passionate about is, generating wealth, especially as a woman in commercial real estate. You have your brokerage license, and I think it's really amazing that you've created like almost this machine for yourself to be able to go after projects that you're really passionate about, create a legacy both in name and like security for your family and your community, which is incredible. How can, what I think we can go about this from like a work ethic perspective, from like a lessons learned perspective, but what would you, or how would you want to advise young women who maybe want to get into the commercial real estate space to think about how they can make that happen for themselves?
Get into it as in they are not in the commercial real estate space yet, or they're at the beginning.
Either maybe they're a broker and they never thought about investing, or vice versa. They've been investing but don't understand like what they can really add to their career as a broker. I guess what is the value in being the arbiter of your own destiny, and how can they make that happen for themselves?
One of my favorite things that Charlie Munger talks about, Charlie Munger is partners with Warren Buffett. Core competency. If you are a commercial real estate broker at CBRE, JLL, or a small little brokerage, your core competency is lease rates, triple nets, market rents, or maybe you're in the investment side. Whatever it is, you're studying that every single day and advising your clients, which means it's your core competency. And I assure you, you know more than 99% of the other investors out there. Embrace it. Women, I think, have a larger fear factor, maybe, than men. And I don't know, maybe it's not true that they have more of one and we just haven't had as many opportunities. But we're getting more and more opportunities. And I saw a great movie, Twisters, 2024, the other night.
I want to watch it. It looks very fun.
This is the best. Oh, there's 3 lines from it, but this is one of my favorite ones. Don't face your fears, ride them.
Wow.
Ride them.
I love that.
And I do it. It gets easier. There are things that I was scared of 10 years ago that I'm not scared of anymore. I have ridden that fear a couple times that I'm like, yeah, I can do that one. Right? That one doesn't scare me anymore. It might scare you, and that's okay. We are all here at this conference to make contacts, call somebody. Everybody here really is a giver. So you can call and say, I'm very scared. And I'm like, man, I've done it before. You're going to be fine. Do this. I will also tell you where you should be scared.
Yeah.
I won't tell you it's all rainbow and sunshines because it's not. There's a lot of
it's
danger.
caution too. And I think there's a lot to be said for just knowing where the twists are in the road, or like that tree looks a little sketch. Maybe like just give it a little bit of a birth as you walk through the forest, or whatever metaphor you want to put in there.
And you might give it more birth than I would today.
Sure.
So my latest fear project, if you will, and I'm really not that fearful. I am writing it because I've written enough of these to know I can do it. And I can feel incredibly confident that my numbers are right. I am right. I am right. Also, we're going to have a long enough hold, and it's all owner occupied, that we can weather if I'm wrong a little. We are doing a 50,000 square foot office building in East Austin, and we are sketching out at like 37 million right now.
Wow.
That's big.
That's a big number.
Office
Yeah.
today.
In Austin.
2024.
In Austin, but office. Yeah, I understand.
We've had people say, have you lost your mind? And we're like, no. And they're like, can you get a bank to do that? I'm like, I got 6. Because I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. And one of my other favorite quotes is from The Big Short. I might be early, but I'm not wrong. So I've ridden this fear before. I'm going to apply it to a much bigger, and it's bigger. I mean, even I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Oh no. And I'm like, no. Trust the process. Trust the things you've been doing for decades. Trust what would you tell somebody?
Yeah.
I have to listen to my own advice. I think that's the big thing. Also, if you're in commercial real estate and you've been doing it for 2 years or 20, you're advising people. Why wouldn't you take your own advice?
Yeah. There's another, not in the world of commercial real estate, but just kind of like in self-empowerment. Why would you speak to yourself a certain way if you wouldn't speak to your closest girlfriends that way? Right. I think there's a lot of, you're trapped in the thought cycle in your head. It can be very easy to kind of get swept up in like, maybe this isn't right. Maybe I should be doing this a different way. I don't know. Is this something new? But like you said, the more you expose yourself to that newness and realize, okay, I didn't die. Like,
even start small.
Yeah. You work your way up to it. Yeah. Don't start with the $37 million building.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if I were an investment broker and I'd been doing it for 20 years of buildings that size, then that's a different thing. That might be exactly what I start with.
Yeah, maybe.
That's not my core
true.
competency.
Own your journey.
The 50,000 square feet, 37 million is not my core competency. East Austin is. East Austin. Office, I know it, period. I know where it's going. I know where it's been. That's my core competency. So I'm taking the risk on the size. Whereas if it were not in East Austin and it was warehouse, I probably would do a smaller size because it's not my core competency there.
Yeah. Get your feet wet. See what it's
Ride
like.
the fear and go, okay, well, let's adjust for this. That didn't go like this. And sometimes that didn't go like this, and it was my fault. It should have gone, but I didn't trust. I didn't do something in the right time frame. I didn't take a chance on Canva whenever I thought they were just a startup and they wouldn't make it. I did not get that opportunity.
Yeah.
But there are things like that. There's tenants that I'm like, I'm not taking you. You're a fly-by-night. And then they go do great. And I'm like, I guess I got that wrong.
But you own it. You know, you own it. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're on your path and you learn from your choices, whether they're good or bad, and you just keep growing. You ride the fear. I love that. I love that takeaway so much. DeLea, I could keep talking with you for hours, and I really hate to cut us short, but we'll get you on the red carpet a little later in this series.
Okay, I love that. I'm going to give you one takeaway because you asked, and I think this is really important. This was very, very simple. Let's say that you are working a 40-hour-a-week job, right? You're a broker, 40 hours, whatever it is, and you are interested in investing. Dedicate 2 hours a day, every day after work or in the morning before you go to work to watch YouTube. Get on Crexi, which is free. Oh my goodness. Okay. Crexi delivers a great service for free. Now, the paid version is amazing and the data that you get is incredible. I have found in life, whenever I get a really good free version of something and I will use it, say over a month or 6 months or a year, I pretty much always upgrade. I enjoy that much more than the ones that hold out on everything. Crexi does an amazing job. Also love that y'all are connected to Build Out because we do everything in Build Out and it syndicates. So
try to make your lives easy. Appreciate the love.
So every day, get on Crexi. This is what I would do. 1 hour, watch a YouTube video. It could be me talking about something. It could be Beth Azor talking about her next investment thing. It could be an economist talking about what's going on in office. And then spend the next hour looking at things for sale and for lease in your area. I always say kind of where you live. It doesn't have to be your neighborhood. Your neighborhood might be unattainable. 200,000 square foot office buildings, you're like, DeLea, this is not. But somewhere within an hour of you. And then become an expert. Just study it. Crexi free version may not tell you what it's sold for. In Texas, we are non-disclosure states, so you're not going to get it anyways. And if you do, it might not be true because brokers all lie.
They sell it, they embellish.
We don't. It's a game of poker in Texas. You got to be nice to me to see what I got in my.
Sure.
But you can watch rental rates if they're going up or down. You can also tell if the market is stagnant. That's a huge one. You can tell if sales prices are going up and those things are moving off the market or not. Study it. Study for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Till you see a building come up and you're like, I think you could get $16 a square foot. And people around you will go, well, how do you know that? And you're like, because I've been studying this. And that's how you ride the fear. You're scared to do something that you've never done with your own money. But you go figure out all the data to go, okay, I can do this. There's still risk, but it's your core competency.
You got to take the leap at some point.
You got to take the leap and know, and everybody here especially, these are very, very intelligent women. They're not slackers. Right.
I love it. DeLea, this has been so much fun. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch? Social media, email, maybe?
I am all over social media, and I'm always happy for people to find me on email. I don't hide it. My email is everywhere. It's like in the signature of my LinkedIn. I think it's weird that people don't put it there.
Yeah.
You can find me on my website. I'm in podcasts and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter. Probably my favorite is Twitter.
Yeah.
At Beckwright.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll be plugging that on the show notes for everybody listening. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. We're going to get you back on for a long form episode because this is just so much fun.
We could do 5 hours.
Oh, I'd be down. I would be down for 5 hours.
I could show you how I use Crexi.
Ooh, okay. Maybe you could teach me a thing or two.
Well, it would be interesting to see because then you go, but did you know that? And I'm like, oh, what?
I've had that conversation a few times with clients. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, everybody who tuned in today. If you enjoyed this episode, do not miss the next one in the Women of Influence series. Go to www.crexi.com/podcast and sign up to get the next episode delivered straight to your inbox. You can also subscribe to the Crexi Podcast on your favorite podcast app, or check out our YouTube channel for video recordings of each episode. Take care and be sure to tune in next time.